What is traded in Forex? The simple answer is money, specifically currencies. Because you're not buying anything physical, Forex trading can be confusing. So we'll use a simple but imperfect analogy to help explain. So think of buying currency as buying a share in a particular country, kind of like buying shares in a company. The price of the currency is usually a direct reflection of the market opinion on the currency and the future health of the respective economy. In Forex trading, when you buy, say, the Japanese yen, you're basically buying a share in the Japanese economy. So I'm reading this, but I'll explain it further in more basic terms if what they're writing is not simple enough. You are betting that the Japanese economy is doing well and will get even better as time goes. That's the gist of it. That is really the gist of it. That's important. Okay, if you want to know what you're actually doing when you're buying currencies rather than selling. Okay, so once you sell those shares back to the market, hopefully you will end up with profit, because if the Japanese economy goes up, their numbers go up. So if you bought it low and you sold it high, you make profit. Get it? In general, the exchange rate of a currency versus another currency is a reflection of the condition of that country economy compared to other economies. By the time you graduate from this school of Pipsology, you'll be eager to start working with currencies. So, I think this next is going to go through the major currencies. While there are potentially lots of currencies you can trade, as a new Forex trader, you'll probably start trading with the major currencies. Now, there's about 8 they said here. I thought it was 7. Let's just say they're called major currencies because they're the most heavily traded currencies and represented some of the world's largest economies. Forex traders differ to what they consider as major currencies. The uptight ones, who have probably got straight A's and followed all the rules as children, only consider USD, which is American, Euro, Yen, Great British Pound, and the Swiss as major currencies. That's 5. Then they label the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, and Canadian dollars as commodity currencies. That's 8. Okay, yeah. 8. For us rebels, to keep things simple, we consider all 8 currencies as the majors. And that's what I do too. Because Australian and Canadian, those are very strong. New Zealand, I don't know. That just seems like they seem to move very similar to Australian dollars. I haven't really analyzed them that close to have any rightful opinion on them. But every time I look at them, they look like the Australian dollars. So I honestly, that's why I said 7, because I don't consider them in the major currencies. Yeah. Call me racist. Below, we list them by their symbols, currency where they're used, currency name, and cool nicknames. So if you're new to currencies in general, this will get a little getting used to. But because I used to work in transport, world transport, I know what these were, because when it comes to paying for tax and duty, it's always in the country of the destination. So when we send things to Japan, the receiver will get taxed a certain amount, and they'll always tell us the currency of that country, which is Japanese yen. So that's why I'm very familiar with this, but I know a lot of people aren't familiar. Especially when it's like the first time looking around, they all think, oh, it's dollar everywhere. Like, oh, Japanese dollar, oh, Vietnamese dollar, African dollar. No. Currencies are actually called different things around the world. So, going through quickly here, the US, obviously dollar. They also have nicknames. Don't look into this too much, okay? This page likes to be fancy and just tell you different things, like the US is called buck, Euro is called fiver. You don't need to know anything about it. The CAD is called a loonie. I see them try to put this in certain areas, and I have to refer back to it. Very annoying, because when you're actually trading, no one actually says loonie with things you look at anyway. And when you're reading things like Yahoo Finance and all that, they don't use nicknames that often. Okay, it's very rare, unless someone's being really colloquial and they're just commenting and they're trying to say like Aussie, loonie, you know, because loonie is so different to Canadian, but Aussie, you know, Aussie dollar, Australian dollar, people get it. Okay, the Kiwi dollar. I guess being Australian, that does sound natural to me, but I guess with others, yeah. But you know what I'm trying to say. Like, I've never heard anyone call Great Britain pound cable, for example. I've never seen that anywhere. And I've read a lot of articles. I usually go to, so YouGov Finance is one of them. I'm forgetting all the things I used to look up when I do my first studies. But yeah, so I know I'm drifting off here, but I'm just letting you guys know now that these are things you don't need to remember. So while I'm still talking a lot unnecessarily, I'm also telling you what you should remember. So hopefully that saves you time in the long run. So I hope that. So quickly go through them. US dollar, euro is European currency, Japanese yen, British pound, Switzerland they call it the franc, Canadian is dollar, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. That's all you really need to know. And then it comes to the symbols. Now symbols you do have to remember, because often when you're trading, that's what you see. You don't see them spelled out Japanese yen. You only see JPY. And when you're listening to news and all that, they shorten it to that too. Like the USD against the JPY, CFH to the CAD. You know, that's what you hear often when in a professional setting anyway. And then often when they comment after, then that's when they use the currency name, like the US dollar against the Japanese yen. Okay, but oftentimes they talk about in code. So rarely they talk about nickname. That's like really, really, really casual. And even then, I don't, like I said, I don't see anyone saying loony, Swissy. I mean, yeah, I can guess I hear them saying Swiss, the Swiss, yeah. But cable, again, haven't heard. Fiber, haven't heard. Because that just confuses people often. Currencies, currency. So easy way to remember this, where there's two first letters identify the name of the country, and the third letter identifies the name of the country's currency, usually the first letter of the currency's name. These three letters are known as the ISO 4217 currency codes. Don't need to remember that title at all. By 1973, the International Organization of Standardization, which is short for ISO, established the three-letter codes for currency that we use today. Take NZD for instance. NZ stands for New Zealand, while D stands for dollar. Easy enough, right? And that is it. That's the gist of it. Oh wait, there's more. We'd also like to that buck isn't the only unit. The only nickname for USD. There's also greenback, bones, Benjis, Benjamins, cheddar, paper, loot, skrilla, cheese, bread, mullah, dead presidents, and cash money. So if you want to say I have to go to work now, instead you can say, yo, I gotta bounce. Gotta make them Benjis, son. Who wrote this? Who wrote this? Why are they talking like this? Fun fact, in Peru, a nickname for the US dollar is Coco, which is a pet name for George in Spanish, a reference to the portrait of George Washington on the dollar note. That wasn't a fun fact at all. Yeah, that's it. That's all for this lesson. So, hope you got a bit out of that, so you understand what's important, what's not. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.